What's going on, guys? I just want to make it a short video of how to change your tire. If you're in the event where you're on the side of the road, you have a flat or something like that in emergency. For this example purpose, we're going to be using a 2018 Honda Accord. The first step you want to do is you want to apply your parking brake. And now some vehicles have a lever that you pull up, and some have a pedal down here in this general area right here by your brake pedal and your gas pedal to push. But on this particular vehicle, for most newer vehicles, it's always going to be a button that you pull and it automatically sets your parking brake. And you want to go back here after you set your parking brake and grab your equipment, the jack, everything. You lift this up right here. And for most vehicles, it's all going to be right here. I'm going to pull this out. Now some vehicles, like trucks, generally, the spare tire will be under the vehicle, but for most cars and SUVs, your spare tire is going to always be back here in your trunk, under your cargo mat. And you got a little screw right here that you got to take out. Sometimes they take a little while to get out. Set that off to the side. Get your spare tire out. Set it off to the side. Oh. Alright. You get your equipment for your jack here. Get the lug wrench. And then here's the hook tool that you use to raise or lower the jack. And you attach it right here to your lug wrench. And this is pretty standard for all vehicles. It's all about the same. Now, one rule of thumb with these jacks right here, a little nickname for them is people call them a suicide jack, and there's a reason for that, because these things can be very unstable. So you want to make sure when you have to pull off on the side of the road in the event of a flat tire or a blowout, that you want to be on the most level, secure surface, not on no gravel or nothing, if you can help it. Because these things, if you're not careful, they can lay over on you and the car will fall down. And you don't want to have your legs or hands or anything around the vehicle if it does happen, because I've seen it happen. Now, generally under cars here, let me get a light right there. There's going to be what's called a pinch weld under all vehicles. It's standard on all vehicles. See this one? You can see it's right here, this little piece of metal right here, but there's always going to be a piece some metal right here, so you can pull the camera right here up here closer. But this little line right here under your car right here, this little piece of metal right here, it's going to be thin and it's going to be raised off of the body of your car. That's what's called the pinch weld. Anywhere along that pinch weld is a good place. But sometimes vehicles have a pre-made spot on the frame where it's got this raised piece of metal right here, and that's where we're going to put ours. But we're just going to set it there right now. We're not going to jack it up, because what you want to do before you start lifting the car in the air, you want to make sure that you break the lugs loose on your wheel before you get it in the air, while the car is still stable on the ground. And also, if you don't have a working parking brake, it keeps the tire from spinning, so that way you can loosen and tighten the lug nuts. So we're going to get them all loose first before we even raise the vehicle off the ground. Make sure they're all loose, okay? Now we're going to come right here. And like I say, this is pretty generalized tool for all vehicles. They all look about the same. They're all going to have a hook type tool. And you're going to put that in. You're going to take your lug wrench, because it's got that pre-made hole that slots in right there. We're going to hold this. Sometimes they can get a little squirrely on you. You get it just right. Get it raised up. And you don't have to get it too high off the ground. You know, usually just about an inch off the ground is good enough. done off the ground yet. Like I say, you got to be very careful with these jacks. You make sure you want to stay away from the vehicle, you know, or keep your legs or anything out from under it, because they don't call these things suicide jacks for nothing. Because like I say, they can be very unstable. So you don't want to rock the car or anything like that when you're trying to take your tire off. Try to be as gentle as possible, because any kind of rocking motion could get it to where the jack falls on its side, and then there you be. It wouldn't be a good situation. Now, since we're on a nice clean shop floor, I'm putting these lug nuts down here, but see, if you want on the side of the road where there's some sand and stuff, make sure you don't just throw these in the sand, because if you get some sand or stuff or some grit or dirt up in those threads, it's not good, because it could potentially wear your threads out on your tires, and that's not a good thing. On your wheel studs, I should say, not on the tires. All right, we got them. Set these out of the way right here. Now, we're going to very gently. Sometimes they can be stuck on there sometimes. So what you want to do, you want to take the palm of your hand and right there on the sidewall of the tire, on opposite ends of the tires, you want to hit it. You want to come right here. But on opposite ends, you want to hit on opposite ends of the tire to get it to break free, because sometimes they'll be stuck on there. Now, we got it off. Now, it may fit up under here. Now, one good thing is once you get the tire off, a good rule of thumb is, if you can, set it up under your car like this, just in case that jack goes to fall, because if it falls, your tire will be there to catch the car. So that way, if it does fall, you'll still have an opportunity to get the jack back under the car, because you'll have that area of room. Because if that tire is not under there and it goes flat on the ground, it's going to be almost impossible to get a jack on it. And also, that protects you. If you happen to have your leg or something under your car, that wheel will stop it before it'll get to you, for safety. Keep from any accidents happening. Now we're going to mount our spare tire up here. Get a lug nut started here on the bottom. Make sure it's flush. All right. I'm going to tighten it up on there. All the lug nuts by hand, all the way, as tight as you can get them by hand. And then you want to kind of snug them up. Get them snug. A couple turns. With the lug wrench, after you tighten them all the way up by hand, get them tightened up. All of them. Alright, carefully remove your existing wheel. Alright. Now, I'm going to lower this jack back down. It's just going to be the reverse process of how you went on when you started. Hit it back on the ground. Still, baby. Watch out. Watch out now. All right. All right, now we got it off the car. I can pull your jack back out. Pull it back up. And then, you know, you just put your jack and your other tools back in your little case. Put your wheel back in, you're ready to go. And last but not least, I know it sounds crazy, but make sure you remember to release your parking brake, because some people will forget to do that. All right, and that's how you put on a spare tire.